Hello everyone, this is Reema, your biology educator from V-Learning. So V-Learning is an online educational platform where we provide quality education for all. So to get all the benefits from our channel, do subscribe to our channel and also share it with others so that someone out there get access to quality education. So in our previous class, we have completed your chapter number 3, isn't it? So we have learned all about your plants. That is, we have seen plant kingdom, right? So we have completed your algae, we have completed bryophytes, tetradophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So you have seen that how the plants are categorized depending on their body structure, depending on their habitat, isn't it? So there are some features which helps us to classify the plants, right? I hope you have understood that previous chapter. Now, what is this chapter? Today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is your chapter number 4. So what is your chapter number 4? It is all about your animals. So in today's class, we are going to learn about this animal kingdom, right? So what we are going to see in today's class, we will see how the animals are being classified, right? So we will see the basis of classification, and this is your lecture number 1. So without any delay, let's begin today's session. I hope you are ready with your notebooks. So please listen to this class very carefully. This is very important chapter and a little bit difficult also. You'll find many topics you will find not that much easy to understand. So you have to go through each and every concept very clearly, right? So let's begin this class. Yes, but before that, always I give you an overview of the chapter, what you are going to learn in this chapter, right? So today, in this chapter, let's see what we are going to learn. So we will be looking into the basis of classification. This we will cover in today's class, right? And then phylum Porifera. So you know that animals are classified into different phylums depending on their body structure, their habitats, and depending on the levels of organization. So phylum Porifera, then phylum Coelenterata, then phylum Ctenophora, then phylum Platyhelminths, then phylum Aschelminths, right? And here are some more phylums like phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, like your cockroach comes in phylum Arthropoda. Then phylum Mollusca, then phylum Echinodermata, phylum Hemichordata, and phylum Chordata. We all mammals, aves, we all come under this phylum Chordata. Clear? So let's begin this today's session. Yes. Now, before that, you should know what is kingdom Animalia. We are studying about this animals, isn't it? So, what is this kingdom Animalia? Like we have seen this, the plants, they are autotrophs, right? So, similarly, the animals, we are all heterotrophs, right? We cannot prepare our own food, isn't it? So, we are dependent on the plants for the food, right? And in plants, in animals, there is absence of cell wall. So in case of animals, there is absence of cell wall. So, yes. So you can see the cell wall is absent, right? Yes. So you can see the cell wall is absent, isn't it? And they show heterotrophic mode of nutrition, which I have already explained in your chapter number 2, isn't it? So they show this heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So what is this heterotrophic mode of nutrition? Means all animals, we are dependent on other living organisms for the food. We cannot prepare our food, right? Next, they reserve the food as glycogen. So glycogen is the stored food. We use glucose as a source of food, right? From the glucose we get energy, isn't it? The glycogen is your stored food. It is stored in your muscle and the liver cells. And yes, locomotion is present. We all human beings, we move from one place to another, isn't it? So locomotion is your present. They show quick response to external stimuli. So as I have already said, what is external stimuli? That is response. We all animals, we respond to the surroundings, right? And they are multicellular and eukaryotic. So these animals, all living animals, we are all eukaryotes, right? And we are made up of more than one cells. We have millions of cells, right? We are multicellular. Clear? And one most important is this animalia, they have got this mesoderm. Now, what is this mesoderm? Mesoderm is a germ cell layer which helps in the development of your organs, right? So, all the animals, we have a germ cell layer. So, this germ cell layer are of three types. One is your ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, right? So, all animals, they have got mesoderm from where the organs are developing. So, what do you mean by this classification? As I have already explained, what is this classification? You know that in your life also you have so many things, right? What to take and what to not to take, right? We have to classify, isn't it? So, in case of these animals also, we have got 8.7 million species of animals. You already know this. So, we have to classify them, right? So, why we need to classify them? Because it will make our work easier. We can easily identify those animals. And how these animals are classified? These animals are classified based on these various features. There are some features given by the scientists on the basis of which we can classify the living, that is your animals. So what are the various features? Let us see. First one is your level of organization, right? No, so what do you mean by this level of organization? You know that in case of these animals, we have got animals from the smallest category, from the highest category, right? So we can say at lowest category to highest category, isn't it? So we have to place them according to their category. That is your level of organization. So it starts from your cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and then finally the organ system level. Clear? Next is your symmetry. Now, what do you mean by this symmetry? Symmetry means the segments are repeated. So, depending on the symmetry, we can also classify the animals. Next is your germ layer. So, what is this germ layer? These germ layers are present in the embryo. During the development of your embryo, the germ cells are being formed. This germ cells has got 3 layers, right? So that layers are called as your germ cell layers. So depending on these germ cell layers, we can classify the animals too. Next is your coelom, right? So coelom is nothing but the body cavity. So coelom is your body cavity where your organs are present, like our digestive system, our circulatory system, right? So coelom is your body cavity. So depending on the coelom also, the animals have been classified. Next is your segmentation. Now what is this segmentation? So how the body of the animals is being segmented. Like in case of this earthworm, if you have noticed that the earthworm body is segmented, right? Even in case of cockroach too. Even in case of this annelids like insects, isn't it? The body is segmented, that is separated into small parts. Clear? So that is known as your segmentation. And next one is your notochord, right? So depending on this, whether the animals have chordata or the animals are not having chordata, we can also classify the animals. Clear? So now one by one, let us see this classification. Yes. First one is your level of organization. So as I've already said you, the animals are classified based on the 4 levels of classification. So what is this? The first one is your, yes, the first one is your cellular level. Now, what do I mean by the cellular level? You all know about cells, right? So what is the cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, isn't it? So we all living organisms are made up of cell. Some are made up of one cell, some are made up of more than one cell, right? Some are unicellular, that is some are multicellular. So in case of some animals, the cells are loosely packed, whereas in case of some animals, the cells are highly or tightly packed. Clear? So each and every organisms are made up of cells, and cell is the basic unit or the smallest unit for your reproduction too. The reproduction process starts from a cell, right? The cell needs to divide. So in the cellular level, there are some organisms in which the cells are very loosely packed, like in case of your sponges. Clear? So they have only got these cells in their body. They do not have this tissue level of organization. They do not have this organ, or they also do not have this organ system. So there are some animals, they have only got these cells. So we call them as cellular level of organization. Is that clear? Yes. Now what is this tissue level? Tissue level means, you know what is cell? Yes, let me show you. So you know that cell, right? So cell. So from the cell, what forms? From the cell, we will get tissue, right? So you have studied in your lower class too. From the tissue, what we will get? We will get organ. And from the organ, what we will get? We will get organ system. And from the organ system, what happens? From the organ system, a whole organism is being formed, right? So, organism. Yes. So, you know what is cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, right? So, when similar cells, right, when the group of cells, they combine together and perform a specific function, we call it as tissue. Clear? So what is tissue? Tissue is a group of cells that combines together and perform a specific function, right? So that is your tissue. Now what is this organ? Organ is when two or more tissues that combines together and form organ. That is organ, right? When two or more tissues, they are combining together and are forming a particular function. So that we call it as an organ. Now can you name some of the organs in your body? Yes, we have got brain, we have got the lungs, right? We have got kidney. These are different organs. And do you know that skin is your largest organ in your body? So skin is the largest organ which is present in your body. Clear? So this organ system is being formed from your organ. So what is this organ system? When many organs, they are performing specific function, like in our body we have got different organs, right? We have got brain, we have got lungs, isn't it? These are different organs. So they are performing different functions. So we call group of organs, we call them as an organ system. Clear? Now what is this organism? When all these things are present, all the organs, they combine together and they form a higher level of organization. We call it as organism. So an organism is being formed from the various organs. There are various organs which are performing different functions. Then only we call it as a organism. So some animals, they have only got this cell. This is cell. In their body only they have got cells. Clear? And the cells are loosely packed. Understood? Some animals, they have got tissues, tissue level of organization. And when you move into the higher level of organisms like your mammals, that is chordates, right? We have got this organ system. Clear? That is your higher level. Is that clear? Yes. Now let us see. Yes, you can see these are four important things, right? So one is your cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and organ system level. These are the four important levels of organization for classifying a living organism. Clear? Yes. Next, let us see the cellular level. As I have explained you, in case of the sponges, like in case of porifera, you can see this cellular level of organization. So the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, that is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. So where we see this, in case of this porifera, that is your sponges. In case of your sponges, we see this cellular level of organization only in case of sponges. Clear? So the cells are, how it is arranged? The cells are loosely arranged. Clear? So these loose cells, the cells are loosely arranged. Next, let us move to the tissue level. So when I was talking about tissue, I said that a group of cells that combine together and form a specific function that we call as a tissue, right? So in case of animals, we have got 4 types of tissue. Can you name the 4 types of tissue? Yes, what are the 4 types of tissue? It is your epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and yes, nervous tissue, right? So all these tissues are very, very much important. So we have got these 4 tissues. Everyone has got, all the animals, right? So that is called as your tissue level of organization. So what happens? It is found in case of your, it is somewhat the higher, that is the complex level of organization. So this tissue level is more complex level of organization. So in coelentrates, so in case of coelentrates, we see this arrangement of cells are more complex, right? So here the cells performing the same function are grouped together and they are arranged into what? They are arranged into tissue. So it is called as your tissue level of organization. So you can see, we can see in case of coelentrates this type of organization. So next let us see the organ level. So organ level means when 2 or more tissues they combine together, they form a organ, right? So what is this organ level? This organ level is exhibited by members of in which phylum we see this? In which phylum we see this? In case of platyhelminths, right? And also some other higher phyla. Remember this one. So in case of platyhelminths and some other phyla, we see this level of organization, that is your organ level. Is that clear? So in case of this cellular level, we see what? We see porifera. That is your phylum, right? Porifera. So you can see this, they together, so where the tissues are grouped together and they form a, or they perform a particular function, right? So that we call it as an organ level. So each specialized for a particular organ. So where tissues are grouped together to form organs and it form a particular function. So in case of platyhelminths, that is phylum platyhelminths, and other phyla, other higher phyla, we see this organ level of classification or organization. Clear? Yes. Example is your tapeworm and liver fluke. So tapeworm and liver fluke is the example. So when we see this organ system level of organization or classification, so this organ system level of, we can see in this echinoderms and chordates. So when many organs they associate together, we call it as an organ system level of organization, right? So where we see in case of echinoderms, right? Or echinodermata, that is phylum echinodermata and phylum chordates or chordata. Clear? So we see this organ system level of organization. So organs have associated to form functional system, each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system level of organization. So each organ, they perform a specific function, right? So that is called as your organ system level of organization. Clear? Yes. So the organ system in different groups of animals exhibit various patterns of complexities. So this organ system in different animals, they have got various complexities. Clear? For example, let us talk about the digestive system. We have got different organ system inside our body, right? We have got respiratory system, we have got digestive system, and also we have got the circulatory system, isn't it? Nervous system. So this organ system, they have got different functions inside our body. And in case of different phylum, these organ systems are also different. So in case of some animals, they have got complete organ system, whereas in case of some animals, the organ systems are not proper. Clear? So let us see the digestive system. So in case of, what is the function of your digestive system? It helps in your digestion, right? So in case of this digestive system, when you look into this platyhelminths, So when you look into this platyhelminths, they have got only single openings to the outside of the body, and that serves as both mouth and your anus. Clear? So their digestive system is incomplete. So in case of your platyhelminths, right? In case of your platyhelminths, yes, in case of your platyhelminths, the digestive system is your incomplete, right? It is your incomplete. But in case of human beings, we have got two openings, right? Mouth and anus, both, isn't it? So the digestive system is complete. So the complete digestive system has got openings like mouth and anus. Clear? So the digestive system is complete. When we can say the digestive system is complete? When it has got two openings. Clear? And the digestive system in platyhelminths is incomplete. Remember this one. This is important MCQ question. Yes. Now let us see into the circulatory system. So circulatory system, what do you mean by the circulatory system? It helps in the circulation of blood, isn't it? So there are two types of circulatory system. One is your open circulatory system and another is your closed circulatory system. Now what do I mean by this open circulatory system? Now in case of some phylum, like cockroach, they do not have proper blood vessels, right? So in case of atom, they do not have proper blood vessels, isn't it? But in case of in case of mammals, we have got proper blood vessels, right? So the open circulatory system, what happens in this type, the blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly birthed in it. So Arthropoda, that is your cockroach, as I mentioned. So phylum Arthropoda, that comes under open circulatory system, even your Annelida too. So in them, they do not have your blood vessels, right? The blood vessels, that is your veins, capillaries, all these things are absent. So what happens? The tissues and the cells, in the tissues and the cells, they are directly birthed with the blood. Clear? So that is your open circulatory system. Next is your closed circulatory system. So in closed circulatory system, like we mammals, we have got this closed circulatory system. Example is your mammals, right? So in this type, the blood is circulatory through a series of vessels, series of blood vessels, that is varying from arteries, veins and capillaries. So we have got proper arteries, veins and capillaries for the circulation of your blood, right? So we know that a human being has got a four-chambered heart, right? So through this four-chambered heart, that is oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood, it needs to be circulated, right? So that is double circulation is taking place in case of mammals, in case of human beings. Clear? So let us move to the next one, that is your symmetry. So we have completed the first one, that is your level of organization. Next one is your symmetry. Now what do I mean by this symmetry? Symmetry refers to a correspondence of body parts in size, shape and relative position on opposite sides of a dividing lines or distributed around a central point or axis. Now, when we are dividing the body of a organism, when it is divided into equal segments, that we call as symmetry. For example, I'll show you. Say this is a starfish, let's say, right? So starfish, when we are dividing it, we can divide it exactly, right? So we can divide it from this side also, from this side also, right? So it is exactly passing to the center. Yes. So see. So when you are dividing it, right? So it is passing through a radius, isn't it? It is passing through a center. So we can divide it and we will get the exact segment. For example, this is a body of a cockroach, let's imagine. So if we divide it, we will get a exact part that will be similar in size. That is called as your bilateral symmetry, right? When we are divided, we can divide it into only two parts, right? So when all the lines that pass through a radius, right, at a central axis, we call it as a radial symmetry. Clear? So symmetry means when the animal's body can be divided and we get the exact equal size or the shape. Clear? Yes. This refers to a correspondence of body parts, size, shape, and relative position on the opposite or the dividing lines. Right? Yes. So next, what are the various types of your symmetry? So there are three types of your symmetry. There are three types of symmetry. First one is your asymmetrical. Second one is your radial symmetry. And the third one is your bilateral symmetry. So what is your asymmetrical? In case of this, sponges, right? We have seen phylum Porifera. In case of it is known as asymmetrical. That is, we cannot divide the body parts into equal size or shapes. Clear? So asymmetric means any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. Clear? In case of sponges, that is your phylum Porifera. There is no division. We cannot divide the body parts of this sponges into equal halves. Is that clear? That is, what is your radial symmetry? Next one. Radial means it is divided into a central axis. You can see here in this picture, as I have shown you in the starfish, where any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves. It is called as your radial symmetry. So you can see when any plane, it is passing through the center, isn't it? So it is passing through this center, right? So it is dividing the body into equal halves, right? So when it passes through a central axis and it divides the body of an animal into equal halves, that is known as your radial symmetry. You can see it in case of starfish. Yes. So coelatrates, Cetinophora, echinoderms, they show this radial symmetry. Next one is your bilateral symmetry. Now what is this bilateral symmetry? You can see in case of this crab, right? So when we are segmenting this crab, we will get the two equal halves of it, right? We can divide it into two parts only. Bi means what? Bi means two. Is that clear? So let us see, when the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. Example is your annelids and arthropods. Clear? So in case of cockroach also, when we divide it, it will be your bilateral symmetry. It will be exact of two equal halves only. Clear? Not more than two. Yes. Third one is your germ layer. What do you mean by this germ layer? You know, when an embryo develops. Now, what is embryo? You all know that the fusion of your male and female gamete will lead to the development of a zygote, isn't it? So, when the zygote further divides, it gives rise to an embryo, right? So, this embryo, it has got three germ layers. So as I was telling, this is a zygote, right? So this zygote, after fertilization, it will go division. It will undergo cell division. So when it undergoes cell division, from the 2-cell stage, it will form 4-cell stage. And from 4 cells, gradually it will form 8-cell stage, right? So this embryo, it will be having 8-cell stage, right? And from that 8-cell stage, this embryo, whole embryo, yes, 8-cell stage, this whole embryo, it will again be giving different stages of embryogenesis. The process by which an embryo is being formed is known as your embryogenesis. So during this process of embryogenesis, there are 3 stages. One is your morula, then blastula, and gastrula. Clear? So this developing embryo has got this germ cells. These germ cells are present in the embryo. So a germ cell is a group of cells in an embryo that interact with each other. Formation of organs and tissues. Clear? So all the animals except your sponges, that is the porifera, will not have this germ cell in them, right? So the germ layers develop early in the embryonic life. So when the germ layers develop, it will develop in this early development of your embryo. When the embryo is being developing, at that early stage only, the germ cell layers, it starts developing. Clear? So that process is known as your gastrulation, right? So that process is known as your gastrulation. When the germ cell starts developing in the embryo, that is known as your gastrulation. So on the basis of this germ layers, the animals are divided again into two categories. So on the basis of germ layers, we will see diploblastic germ layer, and also we will see this triploblastic germ layer. Clear? So on the basis of this germ layers, the animals are divided into diploblast and triploblast. Now let us see what is this diploblastic and triploblastic germ layers. So what is this diploblastic organization? This type of animals, they are having only two germ layers. So diplo means two, clear, and triplo means three. So this type of animals, they have got only two germ layers. So there are three germ layers. So what are the three germ layers? The three germ layers are, yes, the three germ layers are your number one, ectoderm, then second one is your mesoderm, and the third skeletal, that is your body structure, will be formed from this ectoderm. Clear? And from the mesoderm, the internal organs, that is all the organs, is developed from your mesoderm only, from the embryo. We are talking about the embryo. These are the three germ layers you will see in an embryo. Clear? On endoderm, what is this endoderm? Endoderm is present in the inner linings of your organ. Yes, so where we got all the three germ layers in them. So between the ectoderm and endoderm, as I have already said, that where is the mesoderm present? In between your ectoderm and endoderm, right? So in case of this platyhelminths and in case of chordates, we see this triploblastic germ cell organization. Is that clear? So there are two types. One is your diploblastic organization and another one is your triploblastic. Yes. So you can see in this diagram what I have drawn. So you can see this is your ectoderm, right? Ectoderm is the outer portion. Then endoderm is your inner portion, and in between here in the diploblastic, they don't have this mesoderm, right? They do not have this mesoderm, which is the third germ cell layer. So they have got this mesoglia, remember. So in case of diploblastic, they have mesoglia. They do not have mesoderm. Now what is this mesoglia? Mesoglia is a jelly-like substance which is present in between your ectoderm and endoderm. Clear? Now in case of this triploblastic organization, what you can see they have got ectoderm, they have got endoderm, that is the inside one, and they have got this mesoderm, which is orange in color, that is your mesoderm. So three germ cell layers are present. Understood? Yes. So next let us see the coelom. What is coelom? Coelom is nothing but your body cavity, where the all the internal organs like your digestive system, circulatory system, everything where it is present, that is known as your coelom. So depending on your coelom, the animals are again categorized, and there are three types of coelom. So what is this coelom? Coelom is also known as your cavity, body cavity. So the body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called as your coelom. So it is lined by what? It is lined by your mesoderm, that is the second germ cell layer from where the organs develops. So there are three types of coelom. What are the three types? One is your coelomate. The second one is your pseudocoelomate, and the third one is your acoelomates. So what is this coelomates? Animals possessing coeloms are called as your coelomates. Like in case of Annelida, mollusca, arthropoda, you will see this coelomates. Is that clear? Now what I mean by this pseudo? Always remember, pseudo means false, right? So they have got this coelom, right? But they have got this false coelom, right? Pseudo means what? Pseudo means false. So they have got false coeloms. So how the coeloms are packed? In case of them, when you look into the structure, the coeloms are packed like the pouches. I will show you the diagram in the next slide. So you can see the definition of this. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by your mesoderm. They do not have this mesoderm layer. Instead, what they have mesoderm in the form of what? Scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and the endoderm. So in case of this aschelmates, we can see this pseudocoelomates. So acoelomates means the animals in which the body cavity is your absent. Clear? So we see this in case of platyhelminths. Yes, you can see the diagram. You can see here. Here they have got coelom here. Here you can see it is in the form of pouches, isn't it? So this is pseudocoelomate, and in case of this acoelomate, you can see this cavity is not present, right? So these are the diagram of this. Now segmentation. What do you mean by the segmentation? Segmentation is nothing but the serial repetition of your similar organs and tissues. So when you see the body of an earthworm, you will see that it is segmented. It is divided. It is divided into various small segments. So it is a serial repetition of similar organs, tissues, and cells. Clear? So there are two types of segmentation. What is your two types? One is your metameric segmentation. Another is your superficial segmentation. Now, metameric segmentation, where you will see in this metameric segmentation, the body is externally and internally divided into this. And the body which shows this pattern of this organization or metameric segmentation are called as your metamerism. Clear? Next is your superficial. Here you will see only external. The body is segmented only external, no internal. So we see in case of platyhelminths. And the last one is your what? And the last one is your notochord. What is this notochord? You can see in this picture. It is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure. So notochord is nothing but is a rod-like structure from the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals. So it is a mesodermally derived rod-shaped structure. So it looks like a rod-shaped structure, isn't it? So this is your notochord. Clear? And the animals with notochord are called as your chordates. So the animals, those who have your notochord, they are called as your chordates. And the animals, they do not have this notochords, they are called as your non-chordates. Clear? So we can see it from, for example, porifera to echinoderms. So this is all about your basis of classification, how we can classify the animals, right? These are the various features. So yes, you can see this classification. This is from your NCERT. You can go through it. It will give you a clear picture how the animals are classified. So yes, we will solve this MCQ in the next class. So this is all about today's class. Today we have learned about how we can classify these animals, how we can classify the animals depending on those features, right? So if you have liked this video, like this today's session, do like it and also share it with others so that someone will get benefit out of it. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you get notification of all my classes, right? So this is all about today's session. So be connected with Vista's learning and keep learning. I'll meet you in my next class. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.